Investigates has been trying to get answers about allegations of Maine care overpayments as President Trump has declared a war on fraud and says fraud in states, including Maine, is even worse than Minnesota.
Political reporter Jackie Mundry joining us in the studio. And Jackie, what do we know about this tonight?
Yeah, Megan Scott, as you said, we've been trying to get answers. I've gotten several emails, comments, and messages on social media, and even physical mail to the station asking about fraud allegations in Maine. Now, as the president is pointing fingers at Maine, here's what we know.
Maine and many other states are even worse.
In his State of the Union address, President Donald Trump declaring a war on fraud, which will be led by Vice President J.D. Vance.
I can assure you it's a peaceful revolution, a peaceful war, but the one thing that is important is that people are held accountable.
For months, we've reported on an organization called Gateway Community Services, based in Lewiston and Portland, and it has overbilled the state by more than $1 million for Maine care services over the span of a few years. Gateway receives several violation notices. I asked the Maine Department of Health and Human Services how many of these violation notices the state sends to organizations that bill Maine care annually. The department says it does not track that number. Under both state and federal law, suspension of payment happens when there are credible allegations of fraud. Maine care payments have been suspended to Gateway Community Services.
There's over 5,000 companies billing Maine care, Medicaid in Maine. Obviously, there's some fraud.
We also reported on an Inspector General report that revealed Maine made more than $45 million worth of improper Medicaid payments for autism services.
We got nothing to hide. We're spending money thinking for good reasons and good causes and people's needs.
Governor Janet Mills has stood firm in saying the OIG report did not reveal fraud. Maine DHHS says the department is reviewing hundreds of claims to try to validate that OIG report. The Office of Maine Care Services says it will recover any confirmed overpayments and refund the federal share. Legislative Republicans have been vocal for months about the need to do something about these allegations. Senator Matt Harrington says he hopes the governor and attorney general work with the federal government.
I think we have a hard-headed president and a hard-headed governor, and they're just both standing their ground in this battle that no one's going to win.
Government watchdog and Maine native Dylan Hetler-Guyudet specializes in investigating corruption and abuse of power. He's testified before Congress multiple times on this issue.
It would be that fraud is a systemic problem that requires systemic solutions, and trying to play whack-a-mole with individual instances of scandalous fraud is not the way to go about handling the issue.
He says narrowing in on specific communities, for example, the Somali community, doesn't help the issue long term.
You end up creating sort of partisan, political backlashes that make it harder to come together on a bipartisan, cross-partisan basis to actually move the kinds of reforms and solutions that would solve the problem at its root.
I asked Harrington, where does the state go from here?
No new companies should be able to allowed to start billing Medicaid, and then they need to do a comprehensive audit of those existing companies, and those found to be fraudulently billing, they need to be held accountable. There need to be criminal ramifications for this.
There has been some legal action connected to fraud in the state. A woman who ran a foster home in Clifton was found guilty on fraud charges about a year and a half ago. The state recovered close to $48,000 and she was sentenced to 5 years in prison. A spokesperson for Governor Janet Mills says that this is not a war on fraud as much as it's a war on people who stand up to the president. For 8 Investigates, I'm Jackie Mundry.